In the last few months, I have introduced you to interesting countries and exciting business class products on my channel. But do you know how these videos were created? Sometimes, you have to get a bit creative to make the bookings work out at good rates and to ensure that my little daughter at home doesn't have to miss her dad for too long. So, take a behind-the-scenes look with me and join me on a crazy and fun 50-hour trip across 5 countries with 5 business class flights worth over 10,000 euros. In this video, you'll find out how much I actually paid in the end and whether I managed to complete the trip in the planned 50 hours. Let's get started! My adventure begins in Frankfurt, where I board an Austrian Airlines Dreamliner to Vienna. From there, it's off to Istanbul with Turkish Airlines and a short walk through the city before flying with Etihad Airways to Abu Dhabi and then connecting to a flight to Doha. After a quick city tour, my final flight the next morning is with Qatar Airways, bringing me back to Frankfurt, Germany. Good morning from Frankfurt! I start by climbing the 196 steps of the Goethe Tower, which stands 43 meters tall. The tower is located slightly outside the city, is free to enter, and offers a fantastic view of Frankfurt's skyline. Next, I head into Frankfurt city center where the skyscrapers are particularly impressive. It's no wonder Frankfurt is often called Manhattan, with the Main referring to the river that flows through the city. You can find a video of my walk through Frankfurt linked below. But now, it's time for the first flight. So, let's hop in the car and head to Frankfurt Airport. After a visit to the Lufthansa Panorama Lounge, the first highlight awaits us, a wide-body flight to Vienna. This is quite special, as usually only narrow-body aircraft are used within Europe. However, exceptions do happen from time to time, often for pilot training purposes, which Lufthansa Group regularly implements. Great news for us Avgeeks! So, I enjoy the 1-hour flight to Vienna on the new Dreamliner with its comfortable seats. The catering also impresses with its high quality. You can find a detailed flight review also on this channel. Upon arriving in Vienna, I quickly hop on a train for a short trip into the city, which is about 25 minutes away from the airport. Unfortunately, my brief walk in Austria's capital falls through due to the rain and the delay from Frankfurt. But at least there's enough time to breathe in some Viennese air before heading back to the airport. After some relaxation and a snack in the Vienna lounge, it's time to head to the gate. The next destination is already waiting, Istanbul. I was really looking forward to a flight with Turkish Airlines Flightship Business Class on the Airbus A350. But just a few days before departure, there was a last-minute equipment swap, leaving me with a slightly older A330-200. Still, the flight was a pleasant experience, thanks to the friendly crew and excellent catering. You can also find a detailed review of this flight on my channel. A shuttle bus takes me to a hotel at Taksim Square. Time for a few hours of sleep. The next morning, I'm up early. After all, I want to explore the city a bit before heading back to the airport. There's something magical about discovering Istanbul so early in the morning, with almost everyone still asleep and hardly any tourists around. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the Hagia Sophia, but there's plenty to see around Taksim Square and the Galata Tower. You guessed it, there's a video of this walk linked below as well. After a quick breakfast, my transfer back to the airport is waiting. I'm already looking forward to my next, hopefully longer visit to Istanbul. I'm especially excited about the next flight. Business class flights with Etihad Airways are usually quite expensive and hard to book with miles. But thanks to a great deal through the Air France and KLM frequent flyer program, today's the day. So, after a visit to the IGA lounge, I fly from Istanbul's impressive airport to Abu Dhabi in just under 4 hours. Of course, I've also produced a flight review of this adventure for you. Upon arriving in Abu Dhabi, there's only a short time to transfer. Unfortunately, no visit to the Etihad Flightship Lounge at the new airport this time. The flight to Doha on an Airbus A320 takes less than an hour. It was a smooth but rather uneventful flight, so there's no separate video for this one. After arriving in Doha, I take a taxi to the hotel. During the day, it's over 40 degrees Celsius here in the summer, and even now, at around 10 p.m., it's still above 30 degrees. Since I'm flying back to Frankfurt early the next morning, but I still want to see a bit more of Doha, I decide to take a short night walk. The hustle and bustle of the Football World Cup has long since passed, and it's pretty quiet. Still, the city has a certain atmosphere and is definitely worth a visit during a stopover. It will be interesting to see how this little metropolis develops in the future. A few hours of sleep are necessary, so I head back to the hotel before the alarm rings early in the morning. After a quick shower and packing, I order an Uber to Hamad International Airport. There, I treat myself to a delicious breakfast in the fantastic business lounge, followed by a stroll through the orchard, a beautifully designed indoor garden. For the last flight, I've saved a real highlight. In Qatar Airways' popular Q Suite, I head back to Frankfurt in just under 6 hours. I've also linked an almost 18-minute flight review of this trip below. After enjoying the delicious catering and catching up on some sleep, the landing approach in Frankfurt is already underway. An exciting adventure comes to an end, right on time after 50 hours. However, one question remains: what did I pay? Had I booked all the flights as flexible business class tickets at regular prices, it would have cost me over 10,000 euros. But since I only used flight miles to book, so-called reward flights, I was able to save over 80% and ended up paying less than what the trip would have cost in economy. That's pretty crazy. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to produce a video on collecting and redeeming flight miles. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.